When the shelter discovered Eve, she was in a state of physical and emotional distress. Not only had she sustained injuries, but her recent litter of puppies was nowhere to be found. She exhibited clear signs of depression until one day when the shelter staff introduced her to someone else who was desperately in need of her love. Meet Eve, the poodle cross, a remarkable dog brimming with love to share. However, her life hadn't always been filled with care and compassion, and the details of her early years remained a mystery to all. Judging by the condition in which she was found, it was evident that her past had been unkind. Estimated to be between 3 and 5 years old, Eve had been living on the streets of Midland, Texas. Eve's plight was compounded by an accident she had endured during her time as a stray. In September 2018, the Midland shelter received the injured poodle after she had been struck by a car. While she had survived the accident, her front legs were broken, and she bore the physical scars of her ordeal. Remarkably, Eve had not been alone during her unfortunate accident. The shelter staff discovered that she was lactating, indicating that she had recently given birth to puppies. In response, volunteers scoured her previous haunts in search of her offspring. Despite their dedicated efforts, they were unable to locate any trace of Eve's beloved puppies. The loss of her puppies weighed heavily on Eve, leaving her in a state of deep depression, which was heartbreaking for the volunteers who cared for her. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, on September 22, 2018, the Midland shelter reached out to an animal rescue group known as Cassie's Place, CP. CP is a nonprofit organization specializing in raising funds to provide immediate care for injured animals, including those affected by accidents, abuse, or neglect. Eve was undoubtedly in need of their assistance. However, when CP staff arrived to collect Eve, they were met with a surprising development. The Midland shelter had devised an unconventional yet heartwarming solution to lift Eve's spirits and channel her maternal instincts where they could make the most difference. The Midland shelter had been caring for 2 litters of orphaned kittens when they welcomed Eve into their care. They introduced the grieving mother dog to these kittens, and CP described the heartwarming encounter on Facebook. The shelter staff decided to see if Eve would accept the kittens, and to their delight, she did. CP stated, her spirits were lifted, she had babies to love, and these babies had a chance to survive. Michelle Zrubeck, the director of CP, further explained in an interview with the San Angelo Standard-Times on September 24, 2018, she instantly took to them, referring to Eve and her newfound feline babies. In an unexpected turn of events, CP decided not to separate Eve from the kittens, as they couldn't bear to cause her more separation anxiety. Instead, they decided to care for both Eve and the 2 litters of kittens as a united family. The 2 litters of kittens consisted of 7 adorable members, with one group aged approximately 2 to 3 weeks old, and the youngest litter having arrived just a few days before meeting Eve. Tragically, due to their vulnerable age, not all of the kittens survived their early challenges. Tragically, one of the kittens did not survive, but the remaining 6 are now thriving and in good health. However, there remained the pressing issue of Eve's broken legs, which required immediate attention from CP. To address this, Eve's new caregivers scheduled an appointment for her at the Knickerbockers Road Animal Hospital. Eve's X-ray results revealed the extensive damage to her legs caused by the accident. Dr. Sheen, her veterinarian, determined that surgical intervention was necessary to rectify the injuries. CP provided updates on September 23, 2018, through a Facebook post detailing the recommended procedures. The left front leg will require a pin and an external fixator, they wrote. The front right leg may be reset and secured with a splint for healing. The estimated cost of Eve's surgery is between $1,200 and $1,500, depending on the specific needs identified during the procedure. To cover these expenses, CP initiated a donation campaign for Eve's benefit. The fundraising campaign achieved its objective thanks to the generosity of the public. Subsequently, the surgical procedures were carried out successfully. While their beloved dog mom was undergoing surgery, the CP staff ensured the well-being of Eve's adopted kittens in her absence. Following the operation, Eve's caregivers reported that the surgery had been a success. CP shared the positive news in a Facebook update on September 26, 2018. The pins have been successfully placed, and she now has a splint on her right leg to facilitate bone fusion, they announced. According to Zrubeck, the director of CP, the kittens are also thriving and doing great. Once they reach an appropriate age, CP will seek loving forever homes for them. Although Eve faces a longer road to recovery, she remains in the caring hands of her dedicated caregivers. CP expressed their admiration for Eve's resilient spirit, stating, "This sweet girl has not allowed her injuries to dampen her zest for life. She navigates her surroundings with ease, makes new friends, and relishes the love she receives from the CP staff and volunteers. Isn't she just the cutest thing ever?"